This is God.
Don't you blame the movies! Movies don't create psychos! Movies make psychos or create God!
Because you were home.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the 2023 Halloween Spooktacular. I'm going to have so much fun talking a lot of horror movies with you guys this year. I got a whole list of ones I want to talk about, mostly from like franchise movies, but I want to review one like this every once in a while this October. And today I'm going to be talking about The Cabin in the Woods. This came out in 2011. It stars people like Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, like right after Thor. So he wasn't as big as he was now, and Anna Hutchison, as well as Bradley Whitford, Richard Jenkins, as these technicians. And I'm going to get into all of that in a minute, because I remember the first time I saw this movie. My brother and I rented it on Netflix, or when they sent out like discs, we got the DVD from Netflix. And we had heard good things about this movie, and so we said, yeah, let's just give it a try. And we put it in, and immediately both of us were thrown off, because it doesn't start off like a conventional horror movie, and that's by design. Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon have explicitly come out and said that The Cabin in the Woods is essentially a satirical movie about torture porn and what they like and don't like about horror movies. In a way, you can kind of look at it as something like Scream, that it's a satire, that it is a satirical take on the horror genre. From the opening scene, my brother and I were just like, okay, wait, did Netflix send us the wrong movie? And then the title card comes on, Cabin in the Woods, and it cuts to the main characters, Chris Hemsworth, Anna Hutchison, Kristen Connolly, the other two. And it really does feel like a conventional horror movie in some ways, but what that opening scene did for us when it threw us off guard was show us that this wasn't going to be a conventional horror movie. The thing that makes Cabin in the Woods so special to me, and so original, honestly, just beyond the satire, beyond what it's even trying to do, is that it's really about these technicians making sure that like these events are playing out the way that they want them to play out. It's also a take on consumerism, like gambling. There are literally technicians in this underground lab betting against these characters about who's gonna die and who's gonna live and all that. And it's hilarious to watch, because it's really just a take on how greed and consumption can really consume us as human beings, and just how shitty human beings are. And it's a level I never thought I would really see in a horror movie. I never really thought that a horror movie could get that deep into things like that. And this movie proved it. And that's what makes The Cabin in the Woods feel so fresh, despite some of the cliches you will see. But those cliches are in this movie intentionally, because, as I said, Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard have stated that this movie is about what they like and don't like about horror movies. You have the typical horror movie characters. You have the jock, Chris Hemsworth, who's billed as the athlete. You have the virgin, Kristen Connolly. You have the hot chick, or, in this movie, the whore, Anna Hutchison. You have the idiot. Is he called the idiot? No, the fool. You have the fool, and that's the character of Marty. I forget what the other guy's called. But like when you really look at what's actually happening here, you will realize it's really, really, really well done. And they actually do satirize what they're actually trying to talk about. You would think that Chris Hemsworth, since he was probably the biggest name and was up and coming and had just been in Thor, would be the one to survive. But no, I think he's the second or third one killed. Like, he's the biggest name in the movie. So he is gone throughout the last half hour of the movie. It's really insane. What I wish The Cabin in the Woods had done, and this is really my only problem, but this could also be personal preference for me, because this might seem a bit weaker when you think about it, on paper and how it probably would have been presented on screen. But this is just personal preference for me. For me, I would have kept the mysticism of all the underground lab technician stuff until Chris Hemsworth's character, Kurt, drives that motorcycle off the cliff and then hits that wall. That would have been the biggest, okay, what just happened moment, instead of me having that gut reaction at the beginning when I first saw this movie, being like, okay, are we watching the right movie here? Imagine going through the motions, like seeing everything kind of play out and having it feel like this cliched horror movie, And then that happens where Kurt drives the motorcycle off the cliff and he hits the wall. And then just the utter shock of being like, whoa, wait, what? What just happened? Then maybe you see the flashbacks of the technicians betting on everybody, like that opening scene in the movie. And that's how everything comes to a head. Imagine that. It would be weaker and probably wouldn't work as well when you're presenting it in a movie, but that's just personal preference for me, and that's the only knock I have against Cabin in the Woods. When it's trying to satirize the torture porn elements, it does that in the last half hour of the movie. The last half hour of the movie is absolute balls to the wall insanity. Blood, guts flowing everywhere, just a hallway of blood. There's this guy with like metal blades in his head. There's a unicorn that stabs somebody. You want to know how many times I wanted a unicorn in a horror movie to just go up to somebody and stab somebody? I waited my whole life to see that. And it's fucking hilarious. That's the thing. The satire of the torture porn is made campy and it's poking fun at the fact that a lot of horror movies, like something like Saw, are just really just blood and guts and don't really have a story or anything. And this actually tries to build up a world with all this blood and guts and all this campy shit happening at the end. It's so much fun. And when you actually learn about what's actually at stake here, and the two characters, Dana and Marty, at the end make a choice, and they're like, you know what? Let's not even kill each other. Let's just die with this giant cabin and let the world end. That just proves that humanity is just a bunch of greedy corporate assholes. And that's what I love about Cabin in the Woods. The movie doesn't take itself seriously, but it also has things to say. That's what makes Cabin in the Woods so good. I just wish that my personal preference of having that twist and at the midpoint of the movie was the twist. Instead of, hey, the movie begins like this and the twist is given to you right away. It's actually a unique concept because a lot of horror movies probably would do that. And this one didn't. It just showed you, hey, this is going to be something different right off the bat. And I appreciate it for that. It's just my personal preference. Cabin in the Woods is a really great horror movie. I'm going to give it an A. These old ones, you guys know, I rate with letter grades. And I might eventually go back to letter grades permanently. I'm not sure. I like my popcorn ratings, but for the time being, the old ones get a letter grade. So thank you guys for coming along with me on this ride for the 2023 Halloween Spooktacular. Can't wait to talk more horror movies with you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I will see you at the movies somewhere.